Hello everyone and welcome back. Something slightly different this week. We're going to take a break from the MR2 and we're going to prep the race car. So yes, hello everyone, thank you very much for joining me once again. As I said, something slightly different this week. We're going to be prepping the race car. Now, next weekend should have been my first race of the season, but as per usual, I've left it to the last minute. I forgot to take time off work, and this car hasn't been touched in, nearly a year. So what we're going to be doing for the next few weeks is concentrating on getting everything ready for the next race of the season. I've still got a few bits and pieces I need to do on the Sprinter, and obviously I want to give this thing a full going over. Now today what I'm going to be doing is giving it a full service. I've got the spark plugs, I've got oil and filter, and I've also got the gearbox fluid as well. But what I also want to start doing today as well is getting rid of all these stickers, because I'm going to have a go at wrapping this thing myself. I've got two different colours. I've got two big sheets of vinyl wrap, which should be plenty for the car. So hopefully we can get that done and then give it a fresh look as well, ready for the season. Now, the next race of the season is actually a triple race weekend, so I really don't want to miss that. So like I say, the next few weeks is literally going to be concentrating on Sprinter and the Clio. So obviously, whilst we're doing that anyway, that gives the MR2 a chance for all its paint to cure and everything before we go back and flatten it down and polish it all up anyway. So this is a great opportunity to get this all done. So like I say, first thing we're going to do today is concentrate on the service, and then we will start taking the stickers off and go from there. So having this ramp is now going to make this an absolute doddle, and I'm really happy. But with these Clios, they wanted to make things nice and awkward, so they have used these little squares for the sump bung and also for the gearbox plug as well. So let me just find the right one. There we go. So that is an 8mm square socket. And then with these, I can now use a 19mm socket to sit that inside. Okay, so whilst that engine oil is continuing to drain, I'm also going to drop the gearbox fluid as well. And it's exactly the same. There's a drain plug here with another 8mm square socket. Now, I don't think I've actually ever undone this one, so this is going to be pretty tight. Or not. Well, I'm not sure how much longer this gearbox has got, because this here is all metal filings. You can just see how glittery it is, look. Although, to be fair, this gearbox, no crunches or whines or anything, so don't know. We'll see. But I'm definitely going to carry on with the change. I'm not going to change the gearbox now. If it goes, it goes. It's not the end of the world. I have actually got a spare. Just up here on the side. Don't know if you can actually see it, but there's like a plastic wing nut right there. And what you do is you just take that off. There you go. And then you'd fill it up in that hole. Now, it's not the easiest, and what a lot of people do is they actually take a tube off the top of the gearbox where it's like a breather pipe, and they'll fill it up through there. But what I have instead, to make life a little bit easier and to fill up the correct way, is this pump. So I suck the fluid up and then squirt it into the actual gearbox. I've done this a couple of times, although saying that, this has got some hideous power steering fluid in, I think, so I'm gonna have to give that a clean, and then we can give that a top up. But what we also need to do is take the oil filter off, and then we can fill up with engine oil as well. Well, I'm so glad that's over with. I hate doing gearbox fluid changes. It stinks, it's horrible, it's proper slimy, awful stuff. So what we've got to do now is obviously remove the oil filter, which is just down the front of the engine bay here, which is an absolute nightmare to get to with that in place, so I might just take that off. But there's also one other thing I need to do whilst I'm here. So last season, the regulations, we were allowed to run with no air filter in our airbox. But they've changed the regulations now, and it's fine because I've had this brand spanking new Ram air filter laying around the workshop for, well, since I've had this car. So I'm going to have to take this air box out and pop that in place. But like I say, first things first, let's get this oil filter off. Okay, so annoyingly, I am going to have to take off this fuel injector rail cover because it's just in my way of the filter. I do wish we didn't have to run this, but I do get it. I do understand why we have to, because, well, it's literally doing what it says. It's protecting that fuel rail from, if you were to have an impact at the front, obviously those fuel injectors and that fuel rail would be pretty exposed. So, for those of you that were wondering what this is, that is what it is. There we go. Okay, so with that off now, I've got a lot more room down here that I can undo this oil filter, which I still think I'm going to need a pair of grips on. Yep, that is far too tight. Go, one oil filter. Okay, so I've got my new oil filter here. I'm just going to give it all a good clean, make sure that the face where it sits up against is nice and clean, no debris. Right, so with the oil filter now on, let's plonk some oil in. Okay, so with the oil now done, I'm going to tackle the spark plugs next, because there's no point in putting this fuel rail cover back on or anything just yet, because I've now got to take the top side of this intake manifold off, which is an absolute shocking design by Renault. But there you go. There we go. With that removed, I can now just crack on with doing the spark plugs. Now, these leads are actually marked 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what I did in the past was I marked up which order they went in, because there's nothing worse than stripping all these off and then realising that you don't know which order it is that they went in. It's a bit choked up. Can't remember what that means, whether that means it's running lean. I think that is, isn't it? Lean, when it's completely black and sooted up like that. Now, I had used genuine Renault plugs last time. I think I bought a kit, a service kit that came with them, so I wasn't too fussed what it was. But this time around I'm using the NGK Platinum lasers, which are pretty common. And that looks about spot on. So I'm just going to get them whipped in. Okay, so before I put everything back together and start her up, I'm going to now put the air filter in my airbox. Okay, so with all those fluids changed, every single one of the fluids in this engine bay has been renewed. I put a new radiator and redid all the coolant last year before I was hoping to make like the last couple of races of last year, but unfortunately we didn't get that far. But that means now that the gearbox fluids changed, oil's changed, spark plugs, air filter, it's had a coolant change, it's ready to go. The engine is absolutely spot on. So now, like I said, I want to give this car a little bit of a makeover. The poor thing has been covered in dust from where we've been painting the MR2 and all kinds of other activities. So we need to strip off all these stickers and give it a good clean. As you can see, I've already actually made a start with de-stickering down this side, and it just looks so weird to see the car like this. It just looks naked. So we need to carry on, get rid of the roof ones. I've also taken off the number plate and the Renault badge stroke old door button. So again, that's going to make life easier to wrap it like that as well. Probably going to take the bumpers off to do them because, well, why not? They're really easy to take off. And then, yeah, just de-sticker it all. I've got all new stickers for the championship, so I've got a new one of them. I've got a new one of them. Sadly, I don't have any of these because these were done by somebody else. But I've got the new Yokohama stickers. I've got the new 750 Motor Club and the Jonathan LC photography stickers. So, like I said, I can literally de-sticker this entire car, and then hopefully we'll start having a bit of a play around with some vinyl wrap. Okay, well, annoyingly, I went to wrap the bonnet, and as soon as I went to change the position of the wrap to try and get some air bubbles out, the whole sheet just ripped in half. So I'm not impressed with the quality of this stuff that I've got. But what I did do was just a little practice. I've done some evilly eye type things on the lights, and then if we go around the back, because this boot is going to be grey, I wrapped this piece and I painted this earlier in black, so this whole boot's going to be in grey, and then this will be in orange with obviously the black Renault badge. So here it is. Here is the grey. It's a Nardo grey, and then here's my orange. The Nardo grey stuff is really good vinyl. It's chromatic stuff, so it's really good. Whereas this stuff, I think, is just your generic cheap. So I'm definitely going to need some help with that because it appears that it just wants to rip. Okay, so there we go. That's pretty much all I can do today. I mean, I'm pretty pleased with the progress we made because the engine is now sorted, all those fluid changed, spark plugs changed, car runs absolutely lovely. So in theory, regardless of the wrap, I would be ready for the next race of the season. So, you know, I'm not too fussed about the vinyl wrap. However, I would like to get it done before the next race. But there are more important things for me to concentrate on right now, like the Sprinter. I definitely need to get that done next because if I don't get that sorted, then we haven't really got anywhere to sleep. Or, you know, I need to get the mattress on at the very least. But I really want to wire everything up so that we have got some kind of comfort, especially for the second race of the season where it is a triple race weekend. So we definitely have to stay there at least 2 nights. So I do want some form of relevant comfort. I've bought a few more batteries, leisure batteries for it and everything, so hopefully that should last a full weekend, so that'll be a really good test. But that is all for now on the little race car, so thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one.